What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm very excited to go over my 4-4-1-1 custom tactics. I'm using this formation for a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months at this point, trying to figure out how to maximize the squad, how to win games on the RTG, how to make coins, how to get those great finishes in Weekend League. And honestly, I think I might have found some answers. It took a lot of trial and error. Took a lot of trial and error in terms of custom tactics. Took a lot of trial and error in terms of tinkering with the different roles pluses on this game, and even the kind of players you need in each position to try to maximize this formation. And I do really think that I have some decent solutions. So before we get into that, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, and without further ado, let's get straight into the custom tactics for the 4-4-1-1. As you can see in the team tactics, my 4-4-1-1 custom tactics are pretty straightforward. For build-up style, we are on balance. I've tried both short passing and counterattacking in the past, but I found the most consistency in my build-up on balance. For defensive approach, we're also on balance, where we have the line depth at 60. I've tinkered with this at as high as 70 and ran it also on balance at about 50. For me, I feel like I like to kind of be aggressive with my center backs, kind of cut off those counterattacks before they really get going. Obviously, there comes with some risk in that, which is why I've kind of played in the middle ground with 60, but that's all personal preference, and you can tinker with that and see which brings you the most success defending. But here is where things really get interesting, and that is with the player roles. A part of this game that had been overlooked for a lot of the game cycle, but no longer. These are critical to unlocking your team, to unlocking players, to maximizing how a formation, how a player plays. It has a lot to do with their attacking intelligence, how they defend, the runs that they make, how they interact with other players on your team. It's massive. And honestly, there's a lot of versatility and a lot of options. You can find players that fit roles that you like, or you can find a formation and find players that fit into it. Either way, you have to make sure that you understand which roles, what kind of players allow you to thrive, bring out the best in your gameplay. We'll start in net. We have Thibaut Courtois back there. Honestly, with or without a play style, he's a glitch. He's insane. He's probably one of the best keepers on this game, if not the best keeper on this game, though Buffon would definitely like a word. We have him on sweeper keeper, a modern goalkeeper who's able to stop attacks and support build-up play as a passing option. He's one of a kind. He's the squid. He stands on his head. But we have him on sweeper keeper. We recently packed this Carlos Alberto out of the 1 of 4 88 plus player pick from Mode Mastery. He has fullback plus plus, which personally I love. I've switched Mendy from wingback plus to get the role plus, but also have him on fullback. But that's just kind of how I've been. I've always had my fullbacks on stay back while attacking. I manually make runs with them, or if I take the ball, I'll make runs with them like organically, but I do not like the AI making those runs for me, especially with my defense, especially because we already have a high line of 60. So we have Alberto on fullback plus plus. We've been trying kind of Mendy on wingback plus. We did kind of put him into a more attacking evolution. So, and I think that there's a lot of potential to unlock, especially with how meta he is on that left side. But I had been running him also on fullback, but then he wouldn't get the role plus, which having a team with all role pluses feels really, really important to me. On Virgil van Dijk, we have him on defender plus, and on Konate. Oh wow, did they upgrade Konate already? That's crazy. That's neither here nor there. But he's on defender plus plus, so to have those guys back there, as meta as it gets in the back line. But for me, with my backline and the tactics, it's always about maximizing defending and having consistency. I'm a player who relies heavily on my defense, and when I struggle, it's because of my lack of abilities to create. So we've done a lot of tinkering in terms of the midfielders, the attackers, the cam, the striker, how we manage those. But my defense is always very standard. I want to minimize risk. I want to minimize opportunities to be countered or to be picked apart just because a fullback made a rogue run here or there at a critical moment. Moving on to the midfield, my right center mid spot has honestly been something that has just been a revolving door of different players, especially in recent days. We have the Lampard SBC that we put into the Sentinel. He's actually pretty good. He has a lot of nice passing play styles, but I still am not sure he's who I'm looking for. I might try out that Gabi card, so stay tuned for a player review on that if I get that done. We've tried a Lamar that I've been evolving for a while, a Llorente that I've been evolving for a while. But regardless of who the player is, I love having both of my midfielders pushing up, especially like the combination of box to box and playmaker plus with Jose Roberto at the left center mid. Both these cards are unique in that they get forward very well, but they also hold their own defensively. Especially Jose Roberto, like he feels like you're using a winger at center mid, but he has the high defending, so he's like a perfect card and probably one of the best value SBCs of winter wildcards. I know that at times, especially for me, I play a lot of possession. I like to rush up the pitch. If nothing's there, I slow it down. I pass the ball around the midfield, try to create runs, try to trigger runs, try to do a lot of L1 passes, give and goes to see if I can make something shake. And the risk in that is that sometimes your midfielders get caught out. Like they're both attacking, you lose the ball, and then your backline's exposed. The benefit of both of these players, and that's why player type matters a lot in terms of when you're building a formation. Even if they're far up the pitch, they defend so well and have a good enough defending AI that they're able to at least make the counterattack more complicated, where it's not just a straight line drive straight up the pitch. And besides that, what they do for you offensively, like we already have Cruyff on Playmaker plus, and we have a Jose Roberto playing next to him between Vinny, pushing up like basically between being a bridge between Cruyff and Vinny, with you already have an attacker up front, and he's so agile on the ball, and it just creates a lot of like those passing triangles that are really huge, especially on this game where it's hard to dribble past people. Having the ability of your midfielders to maneuver through that, and while still allowing a player like Cruyff to not have to handle all of the playmaking responsibility, has been really huge for my squad. Like I said, there is risk in that. It uses a lot of stamina. I've also tried this formation with both center mids on box to box. It works, but I think a lot of that comes down to player selection. You have to find players who complement each other, and I think I've done that with this formation, and especially in these roles. I'm interested in trying Gavi just because of all the defensive play styles that he has, especially playing box to box. He could be more of a playmaker because his shooting isn't great, but he has maxed out dribbling stats and all the defensive play styles. So I think that matters. So I think that's one thing to keep in mind as you watch this video, as you think about how you want to build your formation, is understanding how players complement one another. And that ties right into your right mid, your left mid, your cam, and your striker. In the 4-4-1-1, I need both my left mid and my right mid on inside forward at this point. Every card I've been using in these positions has inside forward, and it does so much for my attack, just because when I feel like when I play the ball down one side, let's say I'm going down the right wing with Nico Williams, I pass the ball to Cruyff. Instead of drifting out wide more towards the left side of the 18 or towards the corner flag, Vinny is getting to the semicircle. He's getting right at the edge of the box in a position where if he makes one man miss, he's in on goal and he's likely finishing it because he's Vinny. And for me as an attacker, I struggle sometimes in those one-on-one scenarios, but this formation and this playstyle and these role pluses allow me to get into those spots so consistently that it's only a matter of time before a card like Vinny or a card like Nico sneaks past a defender, rockets a shot to the back of the net, and you steal a goal. It's just about consistency. And that's what role pluses bring. When you have a role plus, especially a role plus like Vinny does at left mid, you know exactly where he's going to be when you're building up your attack. And that's why it's so important to, one, find consistency. Don't try to change formations. Don't try to change role pluses every couple games. You got to give yourself time to feel what the formation does, feel how the players adjust, feel how they move, and then from there you can make minor tinkers. But completely overhauling your role pluses and your formation all the time just messes up with the way that you play the game and just throws off your feel for the game. So I think it's really important, if you're going to try a custom tactic, if you're going to try this custom tactic, give it time, give it a weekend, give it at least 10 games to kind of see the flaws, see where you can make improvements, because with the role pluses, you can really make improvements on this game. The left mid and right mid always find ways to get to the edge of the box and get into dangerous positions, especially when you have a left mid or right mid like a Sane or a Saka or a Salah who has the finesse plus you need him on inside forward because he will drift right into this perfect spot, not 8 times, 9 times out of 10, to lace a finesse shot right past the keeper. And we know how broken those are on this game. The cam is important. I've tried Classic 10 when I had Classic 10 plus plus, I should add, when I had Troussard at cam. With Cruyff, I have him on Playmaker plus plus. And I've tried Cruyff at cam and striker, and I can never really get a feel for where I like him the best. But in this role, especially with the tiki-taka plus plus and the attacking AI of Nico and Vinny on inside forward, he's perfect in the cam position to be able to give a 1-2 to when Vinny sends that ball and you know that he's attacking towards the edge of the box, you can send an over the top ball. He has a 5-star weak foot. He has the ability to do that, and he has a play style to do that. I mean, there's other alternatives that really do work in this formation. Shadow striker is one of those where it especially if you have a midfielder on Playmaker plus plus, it takes a lot of the playmaking responsibility off your cam. You can allow him to push up the field with shadow striker, and then you have almost like a kind of like a 4-4-2, like a 4-4-2, no, a 4-2-4 in attack, but while still kind of maintaining that defensive shell in a way. So I think there's a lot of options with that. That's kind of how I like to rock with it. I think the best role plus I found a striker is advanced forward. I haven't even tried this Goalkeeper card. He's just in the team. Player review coming soon, guaranteed. But advanced forward, they kind of really have a great feel for when to make those runs, but also when they need to kind of drop back a little bit and be a passing outlet and become the playmaker. Like, there's a lot of times where Cruyff has the ball, he'll send the ball up to the striker who's on advanced forward. He might not have the attack, but now Cruyff is making an overlapping run, and you can make a 1-2, you can do a lob pass, you can do a pass, a 1-2 to a 1-2. It just creates a lot of options and versatility in your attack. And I think that's what I like most about this formation. There's a lot of different ways to attack, but you know, because of the role pluses, you know where your players are going to be more consistently. You know, I know the way I play, that I know that Nico is going to make that run down the right side, and with his rapid plus, half the time and pace is broken on this game, and we can get into that in another conversation. But I know where Nico is going to be, and I know that Cruyff is in the position as a playmaker plus plus to feed that opportunity and to just give myself more opportunities to score goals, which for me on this game, we know how defending is, we know how hard it is to separate. Scoring goals is at a premium. If you can score 3-4 goals, you got a good chance to win a match. So that's kind of how I've built out my custom tactics. And that's the last thing I want to reiterate as we close out this video, is that player selection is a massive part of how the game plays, how much fun you have in this game. It's not just formation and tactics. Like, yes, we all love our meta players. I'm looking at Vinny, I'm looking at Mendy, I'm looking at Virgil van Dijk. I get it. But at the same time, you got to try cards and find cards that you really resonate with. Like, I used this Troussard for a while. I've used this Lamar for a while. I've tried to evo this Llorente and make him usable. And honestly, he really was for a certain point in time. And they made the game fun. It wasn't the same players all the time. I really found players that complement the way I want to play, to find consistency in my gameplay, to really have the most fun. Because I really do feel like when you're having the most fun on this game, you're actually playing your best. And this game has continued to get progressively more fun as the game cycle has gone on. Players have gotten better. We've learned more about roles, custom tactics, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it's why we play the game. It's why we chase the cards. It's why we want to spend millions of coins. It's to use certain players that bring us joy on this game, and that can't be overlooked when we're talking about custom tactics. It's a massive part of your team building. It's not just the formation. You got to put players in those spots, and you got to find players that you really enjoy playing with on this game. You got to find your team, and you got to rock out with them and go get some wins. So hopefully this video has been insightful about the 4-4-1-1, role pluses, player selection, and honestly just having more fun on this game. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to try this formation, if you tried this formation, if you have any suggestions on how to make it better. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.